Hello, welcome to our CWTC Get Connected community podcast, where we share experiences, promote services, create health awareness and highlight opportunities available for local communities. As you know, hate crime can have a serious impact on individuals, families and communities. It can target people because of their race, religion, disability, sexual orientation or other aspects of their identity. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with our guest Nurul Haq from Oldham Greenhill Sports and Community Centre, who works closely with local residents and community groups. Nurul Bhai, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me, Sawar Bhai.
It's a pleasure. And how was your day today?
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. Obviously, been productive and busy with emails, the usual stuff as a trustee entails, catching up with people, catching up with the team, even doing social media posting.
Excellent.
So been busy and productive.
Tell us about yourself, your education and your career.
So that goes a long way away. In terms of my education, I pursued a career in law. But that is where the book stopped, in terms of finishing my legal studies. I went into health and safety with construction, managing risk assessments, conducting method statements and all that stuff, until the construction industry crashed in 2008, and then I moved into health and safety products, where I was doing risk management and health and safety files for a company called Halma. I grew into my role and ended up managing a team of 15 to 16 people.
Wow.
I did it for a long time, up to 15, 16 years. And you become part of the furniture, and in the end the job became quite stale.
So you wanted to change. So your current role at your organisation, what are you doing?
So I'm currently a director at Oldham Greenhill Community Sports and Recreation Club, and my job is quite a wide spectrum in terms of what's expected of me. I act as the trustee, work closely with my director of operation, Abid Hussain, who spearheads a very good team there. We have volunteers, 12 volunteers that are involved with our projects and activities on a weekly basis. We have at least 5 to 6 employed staff. They need managing as well. There's an expectation in terms of managing grants, looking at further opportunities, planning all the activities with the team, collaborating with the project lead and the project coordinator, and making sure that things are running in place and work in advance of activities happening.
And normally is the the way the voluntary sector works. The organisations had to have a plan for the next 6 months to a year, even more. And we have an excellent relationship with you as well. You're doing some fantastic work. Coming down to the topic itself now, hate crime, because I want to particularly look at the South Asian community side, which you have a lot of experience of working with. So how would you actually define hate crime yourselves with the experience that you've had?
From the work that we've done, obviously hate crime has been well documented in terms of being discriminated against, essentially based on your cultural background. It could be your creed, your orientation, your appearance, what clothing you wear, the language you speak, your ethnicity,
and even what areas you live in.
And even, yes, absolutely, that has a huge impact as well. I mean, Oldham has been notorious for being known as a segregated town, and we have to sort of overcome that stigma with tackling hate crime head on.
So when we talk about that, the situation created by all these challenges and barriers, Um, do you think that is creating more divisions within the communities?
I think, you know, if you look at grassroots level, you know, people do get along coherently and cohesively. I think if you go a few steps up in terms of the narratives that the way the political spectrum is, with the right-wing rhetoric and the rise of reform and the politics, you know, it is playing into the hands of advocating for hate crime, unfortunately. And it does have a huge influence on local communities such as Oldham, where people will be influenced by political right-wing people.
Can you give us some examples of how these divisions are created?
I think these people advocate for division in terms of they highlight issues such as grooming gangs, issues such as crime, antisocial behaviour, and it only relates to one demographic. And that doesn't help the cause, especially trying to combat that for the South Asian community. So when it comes to grooming gang, you know, a young person or a person that was none the wiser, but they see the mainstream media or the rhetoric and the narrative of the right wing and reform, they will automatically jump to conclusion, and it could be a mindset of tarring everyone with the same brush.
Well, any hate crime is not acceptable. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
And the accountability has to be there. But then it's how is that used to influence communities, which needs to be addressed really.
I think, like I said, there needs to be a lot of positive messages that needs to go out, and the way to do that is the voluntary sector, such as our organisation, need to actively seek the participation of all communities to come together and take part in our activities, such as football, such as the youth clubs that we have, such as the half provisions that we deliver. We can't just leave it exclusively for the South Asian communities. We've got to make it more diversifying and making it more inclusive.
It's a collaboration with everyone.
Yes.
No matter what background you're from. I think I always use the term it's a society's issue and has to be addressed collectively. So how would you encourage that collaboration?
I think obviously working alongside fellow service providers such as CWTC, you have to collaborate with the local authority
organizations,
and of course where we can reach out to institutions such as the Greater Manchester Police as well. They can reach out to us as well as being a leverage in terms of helping facilitate youth programs, giving them a platform to make sports accessible to them. That itself will make it quite an inclusive environment.
So there's lots of mediums and platforms that you can utilize.
Absolutely.
Between the organizations to bring people together and create awareness.
Yes.
That's one of the things that we can do. And also we can do things from schools to community centers to colleges, and utilizing the cultural sector, voluntary sector,
yes,
in creating that awareness and better understanding and recognizing what hate crime is. And then to have the confidence to report it. Now, reporting is seen as is underrepresented in many ways, that people from South Asian communities don't come forward. Why is that?
I think it might be the reason. Is it being dealt with accordingly, appropriately by the authorities? Are their claims being taken seriously? Do they have the confidence in public office, in terms of public servant and the police.
And the trust is there.
The trust issues are definitely there. I mean, what, also is an issue for the women of our ethnicity is there's a language barrier, there's a confidence issue there, and there's a cultural barrier as well. Some of the grievances that they want to raise, it might be with, talking to a man. They might not find it comfortable. So that needs to be facilitated.
Yeah. So having recognized those issues, those challenges or barriers, as an organization, for example, what have you done to be able to improve the awareness and for people to have the confidence to, report?
Obviously, highlighting the issues goes a long way.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be an element to be able to build their confidence in terms of improving their language skills, improving their communication skills, and of course having that confidence. So we as an organisation has to be signposting people that are subjected to hate crime to say, actually, we're behind you, go and report it. And if you need that support, you can leverage on us, and we will best support you as much as possible.
In terms of having the expertise, which is important to be able to support those victims. So do you think it's a good idea as a South Asian organisation or led by South Asian people to be able to receive the training that they need, put some time and resources into helping those people, because there are many services out there who will provide those training that's needed. Do you think that's a step forward in terms of helping victims, knowing that there are centres and organisations around who can support, particularly in terms of bilingual needs?
Absolutely. I think it's an absolute no-brainer to address the bilingual needs. But again, in terms of the requirements that are directed by the government, there is that need for everyone to be upskilled in their language skills, in terms of having the ability to be able to communicate, converse and read and write in English. So I think there is a bigger challenge there where we need to address rather than make everything bilingual. So if we can get our aunties, our grandmas, our sisters, sister-in-laws to actually go through these ESOL courses, go through these training and upskill their English speaking skills, that itself will help and go a long way, rather than make everything bilingual.
Well, I think it's not just about making everything bilingual. There are certain aspects, particularly when you have special jargon that's been used in terms of following up legal processes, that needs to be made available so that people can understand, and be supported. Reporting centres. By the way, are you a reporting centre?
We have took part in the lesson hate crime. The only thing that we've done is raised awareness, such as what you guys are doing.
So I think
not an endorsed reporting centre yet.
And I think that's a step forward for our organisations. In my sort of bit of research and discussions with services and people, is that we need to get the training that we need, and to be able to be endorsed as a reporting centre, and it's a way forward. Whether it's mosques, whether it's community centres, or general community organisations. What do you think?
I think planning needs to take place quite soon then, where decision makers have to make that decision, and that itself gives the community a huge platform, especially when it comes to hate crime, to give that confidence to say, actually, I can go to CWTC, I can go to Oldham Green Hill, and they can be that sanctuary to actually help me out and for me to report hate crime, and to see what benefits I can get out of the system, and how they can best support me.
And I think through our discussions now, particularly on this project, we're finding out that not many people know where reporting centres are, and I think that there's need to be awareness of that. It's no point of developing or should I say duplicating things when so many services are there. We just need to tap into that and create this awareness that we need. What do you think our Asian community leaders can do to help victims to have the confidence in reporting hate crime?
I think the first thing is, like you guys are doing, raise awareness.
Yeah.
Raise awareness, signposting people to key and important numbers. If it's obviously really urgent and life-threatening, then of course don't hesitate to call the police and dial 999. But there are services available in terms of counselling and support services for children that are readily out there, but we are not tapping into. And what will also help is the local masjids, madrasas, they have a lot of influence and a lot of footfall.
They have an important part to play.
They have an absolute important part to play within the local community and society.
Yes.
And a lot more things can be done in terms of a proactive measure, maybe even a poster on the notice board will go a long way.
What do you think of having open discussions so that you take in concerns from the community and you come up with solutions? I'm one of those people who would like to come up with ideas and solutions to move forward, because negativity just carries on, doesn't it? So people need to come up with solutions so they can create a better society. How would you approach that?
Well, as long as you offer, refreshments, tea, coffee, which you always do, that will.
Is
go
that it?
Yeah, that will go a long way.
All right.
That will go a long way, because, like I said,
Well, I can tell you, if you got an offer from me. Yeah, if you want to get people together, you can come here and organise this open discussions.
I think we need to accept that invitation. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
But that will go a long way, because without actually tackling it head on, having that a group come together, you won't know the true reflection of all the problems that are out there that people are facing on a daily basis. So until you get a group of people around the table, or a community group having a conversation, giving them that platform, you won't know the true
picture of things
in terms of where the community is at. And it will be based on assumptions and presumptions and allegations, and that itself, you can have tangible outcomes and actions from having these gatherings.
Sure.
Absolutely.
You do a fantastic job with the young people, particularly South Asian young people. What is their feeling around about Oldham itself, about the safety, the spaces, the environment, the local areas? What's their perspective on this?
Well, first and foremost, we always, with all our activities, we approach it with making sure that everyone's equal. Everyone is treated with respect and dignity. You have to have that mutual feelings towards one another, and create a good sense of vibrancy and a positive atmosphere. That itself goes a long way, and we always say, whenever there's a group of people, if there's anyone subjected to, any bad behavior or bad word, always come out and speak to us. In general, like I said, the schools have been quite good. From what we hear, they are advocating to make sure that, everyone is united against racism, against hate, and that is pretty much evident.
Do you think there needs to be more visibility of what's been promoted and what the outcomes have been? It's okay to create an awareness of something, but what impact has it had? Has it continued to be followed or not? So who's monitoring all this? Who is seeing the difference being made?
I think the media has a lot to answer for, in terms of raising the awareness, and through the media, a lot can be done to achieve that. I think it's definitely still a reactive approach. For example, if you go to a football game and black players been subjected to racism, then all of a sudden you see these campaigns, kick out racism, or a prominent figure or manager will speak out against it. So it's a reactive approach. So we need to change society's mindset into making sure it's a proactive approach with the support of legislation, processes, protocols, and the law enforcers. And if we have that mindset, people will think twice, about being hateful towards people. There's nothing to achieve in terms of hating people, without any justification.
Yeah. We have fantastic multicultural communities in Oldham Borough, and there is a lot happening, lots being developed in terms of regeneration, culture, art, opportunities, etc. But I find that we need to come more forward in terms of engagement, in terms of policy decisions, and the involvement of our community needs to be more involved in helping to be part of that and development. What can we do to really encourage that, particularly through the organisations who are led by South Asian people?
So I think one way to address that is understanding the need to work together and collaborate, and every organisation need to have a deep-rooted approach in terms of where they stand with their missions and vision. Are we achieving that? Great. But can we achieve more with collaboration, and are we just working in silos and in our own bubble? And if we see past that, we can identify actually we can achieve more collectively, and if we
rather than working in isolation.
Well, yes, absolutely. So if we have that collective approach, and I think we are excited to work with and collaborate with CWTC and local organisations to actually do something big.
Yeah.
Hopefully, inshallah, in the next 6 months or so.
Yeah.
So that's in the pipeline, and that has been quite a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And if we can make this as a standard for other areas to have this kind of model.
Yeah.
Look at the benefit it will bring to the whole
It's
community.
the Oldham Alliance that we're looking at, and development of that.
Oldham Alliance, yes.
Bringing everybody together. And sometimes, I do feel some of the work that's been achieved by the South Asian community and the organisations are not promoted enough, not recognised enough, and sometimes perhaps brushed under the carpet. And I think we need to bring that forward as well. Creates a better understanding. People get to know, what's available in the borough, because I sincerely believe there is so much and great things happening which is not being highlighted, and we can all work together to promote that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like you said, it needs to be singing and dancing.
Absolutely.
You know, because you know all your achievements, all your milestones, the impact, the profound impact, and the outcomes you've had on a participant, that should be embraced. That should be celebrated.
Yes.
And that one person can have an influence on another two, another three. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's 3-4 more people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the ripple effect to that would be, you know,
phenomenal. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You know, and also, you know, when we have cultural events or religious events like the Iftari that you had, there's a great and diverse people who came, and it would be great to have other communities from other faiths to invite people from the South Asian to come and visit in their local areas and exchange this cultural understanding to be able to understand better and work together better, make new friends. There's so many opportunities available.
Absolutely, there is. And again, working as part of the Oldham Alliance Group, we will open doors for CWTC to actually tap into an area which you probably haven't gone into, such as areas in Fitton Hill with Fitton Hill Juniors, and that they're focused on development and providing sports activities to the youth of Fitton Hill, which are mainly of a Caucasian background. So that itself will open up doors for you guys, and that has been afforded because we've sort of come together to collaborate as Oldham Alliance.
Coming on to the hate crime aspect of things, and there's drugs and alcohol abuse in the borough as well, which we need to sort of address, because it is the society itself who's going to overcome these issues, and make a positive sort of awareness amongst the communities that there's absolutely zero tolerance regarding, you know, these things. And Nurul Bhai, if you'd like to add anything that we have possibly missed.
I think all I would say is, you know, we have to address ending hate crime through positivity, through advocating for all the good work that we do within our communities, Oldham Green Hill, CWTC, the voluntary sector, all groups coming together and addressing it head on.
We need to celebrate our cultural diversity, really.
That's what we have to do, and that's what you guys do in abundance, and get it out there, and we will help you guys as much as possible. And if we do that,
likewise,
the effect it has on our community will be profound and positive.
Thank you so much. And what do you think of our setup here?
I was welcomed with open arms as usual. It's absolutely fantastic, and absolutely mesmerized by the whole setup. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's a great platform to voice any issues, and also to promote the services and positiveness that we need.
100%, you know, it's needed, and you know, I have absolutely loved it. I have been on this podcast, so hopefully, inshallah, many more to come.
Thank you, Nurul, for coming. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And reporting is so important for people, so that the services are able to help and support your emotional and physical needs. Please do take care. God bless.